This is the ZNS Network, providing radio and high-definition television services for the entire Bahamas. ZNS Network is operated by the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas. It is located at Harcourt Rusty Bethel Drive, Centerville, Nassau. Our programming is designed to inform, educate, and entertain. We invite you to join us.
The following is the preamble of the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, which was drafted on June 20th, 1973, and came into effect on July 10th, 1973. Whereas, 481 years ago, the rediscovery of this family of islands, rocks and keys, heralded the rebirth of the New World. And whereas the people of this family of islands, recognizing that the preservation of their freedom will be guaranteed by a national commitment to self-discipline, industry, loyalty, unity, and an abiding respect for Christian values and the rule of law. Now know ye therefore, we the inheritors of and successors to this family of islands, recognizing the supremacy of God and believing in the fundamental rights and freedoms of the individual, do hereby proclaim in solemn praise the establishment of a free and democratic sovereign nation founded on spiritual values and in which no man, woman, or child shall ever be slave or bondsman to anyone, or their labor exploited, or their lives frustrated by deprivation, and do hereby provide by these articles for the indivisible unity and creation under God of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Coming up in the morning edition, a call for a selected body to help monitor the Haitian situation in this country. A new oncology center opens here in the Bahamas as the cancer fight continues. Also, we're on the campus of the University of the Bahamas. It's a social event you don't want to miss. And we're swimming with the pigs. Think less and do more. Good morning, everyone. I'm LaDawn Davis, and welcome to the morning edition. And as always, it's so great to have you waking up with us. We've got some partly sunny temperatures in the forecast, and for an outlook on weather for today and the rest of the week, here's Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean.
This weather report is sponsored by Bank of the Bahamas, the bank of solutions.
Good morning, LaDawn. We woke up to a beautiful morning with just a few clouds floating around. As you can see on our ZNS tower cam, there's a couple of those cumulus clouds out there. But when we go to our satellite picture, we have the tropical wave just to the north of the northern Leeward Islands. That's moving towards the west. No major problem there. High pressure remains in control of our weather. That means lots of sunshine during the daytime and near clear skies at night. But this front boundary over the southern United States, that will keep us in the warm sector, meaning those temperatures will be soaring near the 90-degree mark during the course of the next couple of days. Outside of our studios, there's a few clouds, as you have seen already. 79 degrees is your current temperature. Relative humidity, 88%. The winds are near calm out of the north at 2 miles per hour. The barometric pressure, 1,017.0 millibars. That translates to 30.03 inches, and it is rising. Temperatures around the islands this morning. Marsh Harbor at 79. 79 in Grand Toll Key. Freeport, 79. In the Berry Islands, we're picking up 81 degrees, 81 in Alistown, that's Bimini, 81 in Harbour Island. Rock Sound, Eleuthera, Otterstown, Cat Island, Stanley Key, Kemp Space, St. Andrews, all at 81, 80 degrees in Fresh Creek, Central Andros. We get back into the 81s in San Salvador, Rum Key, and Georgetown, Exuma just behind me here. Ragged Island, 81, Clarencetown, Long Island, Crooked Island, Betsy Bay, Acklands, all at 81. 82 at Matutani, Niagara, the Turks and Caicos Islands at 82 degrees. Your boating forecast for today in the northwestern islands, winds light and variable with flat seas 1 to 3 feet. Low tide 7:47 this morning. High tide will take place at 2:12 in the afternoon. For the central Bahamas, the winds are going to be easterly at 10 to 15, wave heights 2 to 4 feet. For the southeast, easterly at 12 to 18 knots, so wave heights 3 to 6 feet. So caution flags up in the southeast Bahamas. And that's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for this, and that's going to do it for your boating forecast, but stay tuned. We'll be back with your forecast for today and tonight.
Basil, thanks a lot. We head now to Montague, where Lloyd Allen and the Morning Edition team is standing by with what's happening on our streets. Good morning, Lloyd.
The traffic report is sponsored by Bahamas First. First in insurance. Today, tomorrow.
Yes, good morning, LaDawn. Good morning, Bahamas. This morning, we're reporting from the beach. We're in eastern New Providence in the area of, this is East Bay Street and Village Road, reporting your traffic. And it's a great start to the morning. What's unique about this area, not so much traffic, but what I have observed, many persons using this area as a workout hub to get their bodies or keep their bodies in shape. And of course, just across the bay, a beautiful scene of Eastern Paradise Island. So it's some great inspiration there for persons getting their morning started here. This morning, we are joined by Sergeant Jerron Thompson from the Royal Bahamas Police Force, who's giving you a look at overnight traffic. Good morning, Officer Thompson.
Good morning to you. Good morning, Bahamas.
So tell us, what was traffic like overnight?
We had a very busy 24 hours. We had 26 accidents in the last 24-hour period. 6 of those involve accidents with injuries, and 2 involve hit-and-run accidents.
Now, we spoke about it prior to, I am one of those persons, unfortunately, who is a result or victim of a hit and run. And I know that could be damaging, based on insurance and other matters. And the best way for a person to really rebound from that, what do you suggest for that person who is a victim at the scene? What sort of information should they be looking for?
Well, if you were involved in a hit-and-run accident, I would suggest that you use your camera phone or a notepad. Try to get down as much information as you possibly can, the make and model of the vehicle, along with the license plate number. Trying to ascertain whether the driver is a male or female, that can also be very helpful in tracking down the perpetrator.
Excellent information there. And then finally, even as we've talked about it several times before, again, those new road rules, I've observed, even for myself, many persons still a bit apprehensive about using the turn left rule. And some drivers have opted to blow their horns or even take over. What is the police's advice for persons?
Well, yes, just be patient. If you're to the front of the line and you are sitting that your way is clear, it is okay to make the left turn. If you were to be reported by any police officer, I advise that you come to the traffic police station, and we'll try to deal with that matter accordingly. And for persons who are blowing the person in front of you, not everyone is aware of the new law, so be patient. Even though they might be able to make that left turn, please be patient, don't overtake, because if we were to catch you overtaking and make that left turn, we're going to book you for failing to keep on the left side of the street, and that fine is $150. So if you have $150, that's fine. You can go ahead and do that, but I wouldn't advise you to do that.
And again, above all of that, safety is key as you're on the streets. LaDawn, reporting back to you in studio.
Thanks a lot, Lloyd. Now onto our top story this morning. A leading religious figure in this country calling for sensitivity in treatment of migrants in his charge to scores of Anglicans last evening at Christ Church Cathedral. Bishop of the Anglican Diocese of the Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos Islands, the Right Reverend Laish Boyd, says the Bahamas could face serious implications from the international community if sensitivity is not exercised in the present immigration issue. His comments came during the 116th session of the Synod of the Diocese of the Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos Islands.
Our country could easily get a black eye from the international community if we do not make the most valiant efforts as government and as citizens to do the right thing. We are a sovereign nation. We expect the world to appreciate this fact. However, the world will mark the manner of our bearing in immigration matters in particular.
The Bahamas government has been facing backlash recently over its decision to resume deportation of undocumented migrants in the wake of Hurricane Dorian. Bishop Boyd is calling for the creation of a non-partisan authority comprised of private and public stakeholders to monitor this issue.
In a post-hurricane environment like now, and in ordinary times, such a body is a necessity. That body could be tasked with the following: visiting the detention center and various shelters that house migrants, investigating reports of mistreatment and discrimination against migrants, but also reports of misbehavior of those in the shelters. Hearing concerns related to delays in applications for citizenship and permanent residency in particular, such a body could also advise the government proactively on areas of potential concern. Such a body ought to be able to advise, but also to speak on issues. And I am convinced that a report produced by a body like this would be considered more credible in the international community than that which might be given by a government official.
Employees of Baker's Bay Golf and Ocean Club in the Abacos are reeling from another blow due to Hurricane Dorian after the property laid off an unconfirmed amount of its staff after the property itself was significantly damaged by the storm. Director of Labor John Pinder could not confirm the number of people that were laid off from Baker's Bay, but addressed the layoffs on Monday. He says the property had construction going on for an expansion, but that project will have to start yet again.
The law allows for the employer in this type of situation a 90-day window to make a determination as to whether they will reopen, they will lay off, or if they will make persons redundant. So those are the employers have. Most of the employers intend to rebuild and reopen, and so for the most part, persons will have to take advantage of their unemployment benefits at NIB, and when the businesses get up and running again, it is hopeful that they will be reemployed.
The Director of Labor says government was made aware of the planned layoffs, but he says the final numbers can change.
And then they gave an estimated amount. They estimated how much they think they would have to lay off, but some talks as relates to saying to them, listen, can you use these persons in other areas of the rebuilding process? Will cause that number to be affected. So we're looking to see how many persons will sign up at Baker's Bay. So we listen, I might be a cook, but I not do carpentry, or I not do masonry, or I don't mind being a helper. And so that would certainly change the dynamics of that whole thing. And so hopefully after some discussions with them, we'll be able to give you a better number.
From the House of Assembly, debate will wrap up this afternoon on the Disaster Preparedness and Response Bill. The legislation stipulates that it will be an offense to not obey any mandatory evacuation order issued by the government. One of the key goals of the bill, according to Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Hubert Minnis, is to help save lives during a storm and to maintain peace and order following such events. The Prime Minister is expected to conclude the debate when the House resumes at 3 o'clock this afternoon. The search is for 3 suspects involved in an overnight murder. A male said to be about 24 years old was killed during an encounter with several males in the Golden Isles community off Carmichael Road. Superintendent Joy Bosfield spoke with us on the scene.
The police received reports of a man being stabbed in the area of this community off Excellence Estates. As a result, upon arrival of the police and EMS personnel, the victim was examined. He was lifeless. Information received is that shortly before that time, the victim, along with a group of men, were involved in an altercation, which resulted in the victim being stabbed to the chest. At this time, the suspects are not in custody. We are requesting assistance from this community that would be able to assist us with this matter.
And still to come in the morning edition, a new medical facility opens, and we speak with one of our local educators who is making a difference in the lives of students. So stay close.
Look, it's simple. Fidelity can consolidate all your bills for their debt consolidation loan. Give you 1 monthly payment and money in your pocket.
So let me get this straight, Miss Financial Coach. You say something about cash in my pocket?
Yes.
And a savings plan with 5% interest? Wow, finally! A bank that's looking out for me. What do you want me to sign?
That's not all. We also offer competitive interest rates and free financial coaching.
That's right, LD. You ain't MBA. Where do I sign?
Come for Comfort Suites Paradise Island is the best-kept secret in the Bahamas. Located directly next door to the Atlantis Resort, you'll receive all the privileges of an Atlantis guest with all the benefits of a Comfort Suite stay. Enjoy everything Atlantis has to offer, including Aquaventure Water Park, plus all the amenities of Comfort Suites. Free Wi-Fi, free breakfast daily, and kids stay, play, and eat free. Visit ComfortSuitesPI.com.
Hey, long time no see. You hear me?
Long time no see.
Boiled fish, stew conch. I love it all.
Tourists come here to take our tours, experience our sun, sand, and sea, and they also spend money around town.
I used to see a bunch of hogfish around here, but nowadays, I hardly see any. You protect one area, the fish do their thing, make a bunch of babies, that spread all over the sea. What's the problem? If we protect certain parts of our sea, it keeps all parts working right.
I was against that phase, but knowing what I know now, I totally agree with having marine protected areas.
I support marine protected areas.
We support marine protected areas.
Look for Bahamas Protected on Facebook.
Sign the petition. Sign the petition.
Medical clinic opens in the capital that will enhance the level of care for cancer patients in this country. The Cancer Center of the Bahamas, partnering with Baptist Health International and Miami Cancer Institute out of Florida to establish the new center. The new radiation oncology specialist clinic will operate every 3 to 6 weeks out of the Bahamas Heart Center facility on Collins Avenue and will provide first-class medical treatment for various forms of cancer. Chairman and CEO of the Cancer Center of the Bahamas, Dr. Conville Brown.
They have one of the most state-of-the-art cancer centers in the world. It's a $500 million cancer center in terms of having all of the technology under one roof. So I'm going to blow the horn for them because they won't do it. But we're very, very much impressed with the level of care that you can have there at that particular center. But more importantly, what we also wanted to do was to reach out to a big brother type scenario with a senior institution that has modalities, expertise, personnel, and opportunities that we just could not afford to develop in our small population, in our small country, in the Caribbean.
Local cancer patients will benefit from some of the world's renowned medical experts and state-of-the-art technology. Deputy Director of the Miami Cancer Institute, Dr. Manish Mehta, says the center, which is already treating patients, will assist tremendously in reducing the high rate of cancer here in the Bahamas.
Our initial goal is to try and see patients who already have cancer and see if we can help them, see if we can give them alternatives that might perhaps not be available, and help reinforce the alternatives that are already available to them. So that's really the first baby step that we're taking here today. The future, as you point out, eventually lies in eradicating cancer as a disease, and that means preventive strategies that need to be implemented. These really cannot be done at an individual level to have the large impact that's necessary. These really need to be done at the national level.
Cultural manager Deanne Gibson is busy preparing for the upcoming Wine and Arts Festival, but what you may not know is that she is a 7-year breast cancer survivor. Gibson says she had 2 aunts that passed away from the disease, but was tested negative for the BRCA1 gene. And while her breast cancer journey was not a bed of roses, Deanne says her faith in God, family support, and assistance from the Jenny Dean Caring and Sharing Support Group helped her to fight.
In order to keep all of those cells under control, and it is a journey because you do have scares every time you have to go and take your examinations, and then you have different things that pop up from time to time. And one thing I've realized that the doctors are overly sensitive now that cancer has been in your body, and so it's a continuous journey, I guess, until the end. And so we don't all die from cancer, but one day we will all pass away. So we just continue to fight.
Thousands of students enter and graduate from the public school system each year, but we must not forget the teachers that help them through their academic journey. Well, this morning, one of them is E.P. Roberts Primary School Teacher of the Year, Waynette Hannah Bethel, who says teaching is not just a job for her, but something she is passionate about. For 8 long years, 29-year-old Waynette Hannah Bethel has dedicated her time and knowledge to the hundreds of students currently enrolled at the E.P. Roberts Primary School. The National Teacher of the Year for the Eastern New Providence Primary District is solely responsible for the students in the 3rd grade this year. The young educator, with quite a bubbly personality, reflected on some of the influential women who inspired her to choose the noble profession as a lifelong career.
Every year is something new. I've been inspired by many powerful women out there, and I think education needs those type of women that transform and change the whole system. There was Miss McKenzie. She was very impactful in my life, and the late Miss Brown. She died recently. Women who I met, they gave me the power to feel like I was someone, you know, I could do a lot of things. Like Miss Chambers and Mr. Henry at St. Augustine's College, who changed my whole impression about teaching. So people inspired me all along, and that's how I got here. And then I came to this school, and I had Miss Morse and Miss Pratt, those who were powerful women, and Belinda Wilson and Miss Barnaby. So I always was inspired, and I admired them, and I try to emulate that as I teach.
But for Waynette, one of her most memorable moments as a teacher was receiving the award as the National Teacher of the Year.
I've always desired to be the Teacher of the Year. Passing the signs daily as a child, I would tell my grandparents or my parents, I want to be just like that. I want to be up on a poster. My grandmother, Sylva Bethel, she's a well-known teacher. Like, it stems, it's in my genes. I think it's just natural. God's blessed me with a talent, and I think I should be able to share it with everyone.
But that's not all, though. Waynette says providing quality education and attracting more parental involvement through community initiatives is her main goal this new academic year. However, when asked what her students say to her about her teaching tactics, Waynette responded this way.
They love that I'm different. I'm unorthodox. My style is a bit loud, exciting. They get their hands dirty. So everybody's excited to come to my classes. This year I've prepared by adding more engaging activities for the children, infusing technology into the room and making it more student-friendly and inviting for everyone.
As part of its 60th anniversary, the Inter-American Development Bank has published a research-based book, Our Prisoners, which shines a spotlight on the dark past of prisons here in the Bahamas. According to officials, the objective is to transform such facilities in the region into fully functional correctional centers. Director of Institutional Strengthening, William Fielding, at the University of the Bahamas, explains.
The book arises from a study that we did in 2016 down at the prison. This was part of the Citizen Security Project of the IDB, and we were approached through the Probation and Parole Committee to undertake that piece of research. So our faculty went out into the prison, and we interviewed about 360 prisoners. And as a result of that, we engaged faculty from across the university, from many disciplines, from health, from business, from geography, from social sciences, to contribute chapters to that book.
With the assistance of college students, Associate Professor of History Dr. Christopher Curry from the School of Social Sciences says the research dives into prison conditions from a historic approach and has an end goal to generate improved policy within that facility.
We were looking at really attitudes towards incarceration and punishment in the Bahamas over the swath of Bahamian history, the early colonial period to the present. And so what Dr. Ulenton and I were looking at were how attitudes may have changed or may not have changed as it relates to persons that are incarcerated. And what we found is that there was brutal punishment and torture that was often part of the criminal justice system and incarceration in the Bahamas. And a lot of those attitudes actually still remain in the contemporary period.
Meanwhile, students at the University of the Bahamas assembled for a unique event which captured the talents and social interests of their peers. Here's Catherine Gomez.
A wing eating contest, dynamic dance performances,
And fun prizes were just a few highlights at UB's recent club showcase. Hundreds of students filled Independence Park. President of the Student Government Association, Alexis Lightbourne, told us what all the hype was about.
Today we're having our annual club showcase. This is when all clubs and orgs come out and show off their good stuff.
Alexis also shares why it's important for students to take part in school events.
Students always say that, okay, I don't enjoy my college experience, but it's what you make of it. So once you come here, come out and get involved and get interactive and stuff like that, it's excellent.
Excellent, you say. Okay, let's check out the clubs. First stop, let's play some video games.
We're trying to diversify ourselves, get into video games, card games, board games, all those kind of things. Trying to use the club as a place for people to relax on campus. You know, students after a hard day, 2 o'clock they come, play some games, chill out for a bit till the next class.
Being the only girl there, I had to show them what I was made of. Unfortunately, I kinda lost. But anyway, let's move on to the chess club.
Playing chess, it actually increases your cognitive abilities, and people who play chess tend to actually do better in classes also.
Wait, what? After hearing that, I begged Ashley to give me a crash course.
Okay, I'm gonna move you forward. Good. Remember the knight's move and the nail?
After that good game, I ran into a student who had just won a huge prize.
I am so excited. I really did not thought I was coming out here today to win a prize and to win something so expensive. I am really pleased. UB Mangoes.
Want to learn some cool dance moves? Well, UB has a lot of dance groups for you to pick and choose from. But I had to see what the Sauce It Up dance group is all about.
If you join this club, be more family-oriented. And if you join this club, you don't really have to be able to dance. Because I have some dancers here, they couldn't dance since they come Sauce It Up. But when you join, you learn how to move, find the rhythm, and dance. So you come join Sauce It Up, become a family, and you can learn how to dance.
Being a proud Catholic, I had to check out the Bahamas Catholic Student Society.
There's a lot of influences when you enter into college that help them develop their relationship and have them steadfast, and to have like a family on campus that's based in religion.
Students gathered here at Independence Park to take full advantage of the many opportunities offered here at the University of the Bahamas. Catherine Gomez, ZNS Network News. Go Mingos!
Great story there, Catherine. Well, as you prepare for your morning coffee or tea, we'll share with you what the craze may be around town, so stay with us.
Explore the world of agriculture with us. Join me, your host, Carla Palmer, for continued adventures in agriculture and the marine environment as we head into Season 2 of the program, Agriculture Now. That's Agriculture Now, moving to a new date and time, Wednesdays at 8 p.m. and Saturdays at 9 a.m., right here on the ZNS Television Network.
ZNS is everywhere you are when you download the new ZNS app. Watch our live channel to keep up with what's going on in the nation. News updates, we've got you covered. Tune into our radio stations with just a swipe. On the road, on the go, we're here with you. Available for download on the App Store and the Google Play Store.
Hey, y'all, what's up?
Hey, what's that?
What y'all getting?
Listen, I've been waiting to march down some lobster, yeah?
Hi, I'm Matthew. I will be you guys waiter today. Can I take your order?
Oh, I've been chewing for some grouper dread.
Y'all see this?
See, this ain't gonna work. Where the fish gone, though?
But how, though?
Don't leave our children with no fish in their future. Protect our sea. Protect our way of life. Protect the Bahamas. To learn how you can help, find us on Facebook at Bahamas Protected. See the future.
Former residents in Pelican Point getting some much-needed assistance. That community home of the Coconut Festival was hard hit by the storm. Ramiko Knowles reports.
Well, residents in East Grand Bahama can breathe yet another sigh of relief as hurricane supplies continue to pour in. The Rotary Club of Grand Bahama leading a convoy of supplies to the area ravaged by Hurricane Dorian. As residents in East Grand Bahama begin to put their lives back together, trucks laden with building materials were offloaded and given to persons living in Pelican Point. Rotary Disaster Committee member James Sarles says days after the storm, responders were on the ground in East End with survival goods.
They needed things to cook with. They needed basic supplies because they lost everything. As you can see, the level of destruction here is just unbelievable. The power of that hurricane, it was just no match for the construction out here.
The Service Above Self Club is now in the second phase, and he says the goal is to get people back into their homes.
Today, it's very exciting. You see these two big 40-foot trucks. They come from Gold Rock. So all those building materials have been paid for through our generous sponsors.
We start here in Pelican Point. We will go from Freetown until McLeanstown, but our first stop is here in Pelican Point, and we are bringing the roofing supplies to make sure everybody is dried in. And after that, we will do the mold remediation, and we'll bring sheetrocks. So we are just really happy that we can be help to everybody here in Pelican Point and later the rest of East End.
Contractor and resident of East End, Steve Lang, says he was speechless for some 2 hours when he returned home after the storm.
You can't imagine the beauty of this place before the storm and the horror of the place after the storm. People who know Pelican Point, this was the cleanliest settlement on the island. But now it's just lies in ruin, and the folks are really in despair. And it makes you learn to appreciate the smaller things in life, because I came up here today and I got hungry, and there's no place to get any food to eat because our house here is completely destroyed. And my aunt was eating a piece of tuna sandwich, and they had one more piece left. And they asked me if I wanted. I took that one more piece from them because I was hungry.
Now work has already begun, and residents will be able to sleep comfortably in their homes by the end of the week. Ramiko Knowles, ZNS Network News.
Hurricane Dorian and its effect to the islands in the northern Bahamas will likely remain a significant memory for many Bahamians. But one local company is using that experience as a backdrop for a continued conversation on climate change and what locals can do to prevent future disasters. Streetlight Animation is gearing up to release a first-of-its-kind animated series helping young Bahamians in particular to understand the clear and present dangers of global warming and what they can do to preserve the country. Lloyd Allen is live at Montague Beach with the group to talk about how they expect to impact the nation and world with their upcoming series. Good morning again, Lloyd.
Well, good morning again, LaDawn. Good morning, Bahamas. This morning, I'm not sure if you guys can hear in my background, there's some waves here. I'm here at Montague Fort. This is near Montague Beach. And this morning, I'm talking with some awesome persons who've worked diligently. You know, about 7 weeks ago, we had the passing of Hurricane Dorian. And because of that and other matters related to issues specific to the country, they've decided to create something of an animation series. Get that, here in the Bahamas. This morning, I'm joined by Maz Joshin. He's the founder, as well as Rashad Cash. He's the co-founder of that organization. Good morning, gents. How are you?
Good morning. I'm great. Good to have you, man.
All right, so tell us about how you got started with this animation series.
Well, Nassau Rock was started a while back, and the idea was to tell a story for Bahamians by Bahamians about not just awareness of the environment, but just the preservation of Bahamian culture in general, really.
And when you talk about the preservation of Bahamian culture, I know both of you have studied some bit in college to really prepare yourselves for this role.
Not only that, you born and raised here, so that's your whole degree right there. Wow. You're a born and raised Bahamian, and you grow up in the culture, you grow up in the school systems, so you would be pretty familiar with what's going on here, and also being aware of like environmental changes as our little island develops and grows. You take notice of those things, and as a creative, they affect your vision and your drive, and especially us wanting to like do better, help our nation move forward. That helps shape our stories that we tell.
Now, I know Hurricane Dorian was not your only motivation. It's very recent for many of us. However, it's brought to light for many young and old Bahamians, the issue of coastal preservation. Tell us about what we can look forward to in this series that's going to be airing next summer.
Next summer. Yeah, well, the main thing is one of the messages we want to talk about is just kind of this idea of taking care of your home, because that's important to us. And the show, the reason the show is so important, I think, is because it speaks about young people and the power we hold and kind of shaping the future in which we live in. So the story takes place in Nassau, of course, but a lot of the things they face are issues of environment. How do we make sure our country functions? How do we make sure we're doing our part? And so I think one of the things I remember when I was being young and watching shows was it wasn't so much preachy, but I got the message. And I think that's what we want to do with our show, Nassau Rock.
Yeah. And it also features that the responsibility that it's placed on these young children's shoulders and how they have to now combat like their daily lives of growing up and being teenagers and dealing with this now new issue. And it also like touches on like in our world it's more like a spiritual aspect of it as well, because like whether in our world we would call it God or nature, in their world it's like the spirit of the sea. So it's almost like conserving and understanding not to upset that balance. And in the show the balance is kind of disrupted and it's now trying to restoring that. So when you have like oil spills and certain things that are not taking care of our reefs and our system, all of that impacts our nation and our future.
Talk to me about your team.
Oh yeah, great. So our team is very, very unique in that we have 3 Bahamian animators. One's Cameron. He's actually studying abroad to do animation. We got Stephen Catalana. Yeah. He's our OG. Goes way back. Shout out to Stephen. He works really hard. And of course, we're the assistant animators. And then we have our writer, Chris Willie. Yeah. I hope I pronounced his name wrong. But Chris Willie is our writer. He's also our storyboard artist, and he helps us with character design. And we would be nothing without our producer, our mother, our good friend, Cindy Munnings. Yeah. And she's been a great assistance to us. And we're continuing to grow. So we're actually looking at a lot of young Bahamians who are talented and kind of getting them into the idea of there's something you can do. I think one of the things that's also important is the kind of double-edged sword of it in a beautiful kind of way. There's one hand the aspect of animation and doing this story, and then there's the other hand of industry, growing an industry that's, people are talented enough to kind of grow in it, and I think that's great.
And dreams that it's not just with us, but it's also like to kind of fill that void of what we wanted when we were growing up. Yeah. Not having that industry say, okay, when I get out of school, I'm going to go do this. When I get out of school, I'm going to be police. There's no way for you to say where I'm going to go. So with this, we're kind of springboarding it for, hey, you just come to school, you have a gift, bring it here, and we're going to form this, and we're going to send it to the world.
Now, I remember for myself, when I was in college, one of those things that stood out for me in many of my classes was storyboarding. So I wanted to ask you about the process. How long did it take you to actually put this together?
Well, it's been a couple of years. I think it went in phases. There were 3 phases. The first phase was recruiting the team, and so we did that in I think half a year. And the second half of that year, what we did is we started some pre-production and doing storyboard writing and all that stuff. And then we went into year 2 when we actually started doing the animatics, which is basically rigging all that stuff. And then the final stages, which would be the animation of the actual project. And so
the storyboard aspect of it took a couple of months because one, you have to understand. You want to know how many episodes you're going to do. You want to know what all it entails. And once you have the story mapped out and grafted, then you can break it down and say how I want this to be told. So it all depends on the length of the story you want to tell.
Also, tell me about how's your family feel about this. Are they supportive? Do they think that this is something good? How do they feel?
You want us to lie or tell the truth?
I want you to tell the truth.
Well, I'll be completely honest. People are excited. I think it's a universal thing to want to see yourself represented. And I think when Bahamians see themselves represented well, that's exciting, and the response we've gotten has been overwhelming. We've got nothing but love, and that's why we respect the craft and we give it that amount of attention. My family have been nothing but supportive in our endeavors in terms of even my comic books and other things we do artistically. And of course, the same can be said for Cash and his family, even that it spills over. Right. And so I think it's good. Yeah, I think we're good.
Yeah. And being with a Bahamian family and them not understanding everything of this creative field, I'm actually surprised that they were like receptive of it, because throughout years of growing as an artist, they're like, nah, he mustn't get out this phase. But eventually kind of rolled over where they got it. So I loved it. overwhelming support.
Yeah.
My final question, of course, for persons wanting to find out more about your project, where can they find you?
Well, the first place I would tell them to look is we're on Facebook. That's where we release all our updates. That's Nassau Rock on Facebook. We also have an Instagram page, Nassau Rock on Instagram. And then we also have, I guess, our email addresses. And you could email the company, streetlightstudios@gmail.com. You could either that or email steamingkettlestudios@gmail.com. But I would say the initial place would be is to hit us up on Facebook. That's where we do our casting calls and all that other stuff to the public and that sort of thing. Yeah.
So some excellent information there. And, of course, we're looking forward to this Bahamian animation series aimed at next summer. Reporting from Montague Beach, LaDawn, back to you in studio.
Thanks a lot, Lloyd. Well, during the fall season, some people look forward to sweater weather and the football season, while others look forward to a pumpkin spice latte. Anthony Smith has more on the craze that is fall coffee drinks.
It is still now, so it's still hot outside.
For Bahamians, cold weather rarely ever signals the change from summer to fall, but there's something else that does.
People start asking from like June, July, like, hey, when is fall coming? When you guys gonna bring the pumpkin spice latte?
That's right, instead of autumn leaves, fall can be signaled by coffee, or rather the famous pumpkin spice latte that has for years been known to send coffee lovers into a craze. Starbucks barista champion Orlando Knowles says since the fall drinks have dropped this season, they've seen an increase in customers.
Coffee is a huge part of Bahamian culture, so normally it is crazy. But with the advent of the fall season and our pumpkin spice latte and the new maple pecan latte, we've seen an increase in traffic. It's like the lines are out the door, you know? It's crazy. People wait all year for these.
And the folks have apparently waited so long that some Starbucks locations had even sold out of their fall drinks. And that's why they're so popular. The customers we spoke to said it just offers something different.
That overwhelming. It's not that overwhelming coffee, like strong coffee, like that are hot drinks around the rest of the year.
And when it brings you in the season, you know, fall coming up, Thanksgiving, all of that. So it puts you in a good mood for this.
So it'll start to build up now between now and Christmas, all the Christmas drinks. So it's something to look forward to.
This fall season, the company is also putting a twist on their famous fall drink by offering a cold foam pumpkin spice latte. And while fall drinks are only in season for 3 more weeks, coffee lovers should fear not.
Well, as you know, our seasons, we herald the advent of the new seasons because we always start a little earlier. And our Christmas offerings, I'm sure they'll be just as special as the fall offerings, and people will be coming in to try those as well.
Well, while they wouldn't give us a sneak peek of the Christmas cups, the baristas did promise one thing, that the upcoming Christmas drinks will be just as sweet as the fall. Reporting for ZNS Network News, I'm Anthony Smith.
Thanks, Antoine. And in this report, Charles Fisher introduces us to the swimming pigs, not in Exuma, but in my favorite place, Eleuthera.
You've probably heard and seen about swimming with the pigs, but this is quite different. Swimming with the pigs and the feathered birds all in one. Only accessible by boat this little rock called Adventures Island, just off Spanish Wells, is the place. It's unique. Raquel Roberts is from the United States, her first time being up close to the species.
It's okay, but I'm a little bit scared of pigs, so it's not my thing, but it's pretty cool.
How did you get over that fear?
You just gotta go for it. Just jump in the water and that's it.
What do you think about this on the island?
I think it's cool. It's cool. I'm not from the island, so it's a different experience.
Robert's not the only person who had some fright in her. Jamaicans Rupert Johnson and Trevor Harvey experiencing this for the first time and will tell their friends about it on their return to Jamaica.
I must say that it's awesome. You know, I mean, we love pigs, we love to eat pig, but the swim with them is even better. It's great. Yeah.
You think this would have been a tourist attraction like it is, and the way the pigs reacted with it?
I think it's a great tourist attraction. I think the pigs are rather friendly, you know, animated. So it's really good. I think people really love it. I love it.
Notwithstanding my own personal perception of pigs, and, you know, I believe it's a very innovative idea. I think it just creates a different type of experience for visitors to the island. And, you know, as I've noticed, the pigs are of a particular type, And I tell you, they've been trained, and you know, they're outside of being fed, they get a little aggressive for the food. They seem to be quite friendly, and it's something that seems to be working. So I'm happy for that.
For my Charlie, her dream was to swim with the pigs. One thing down in her bucket list.
I'm so scared to get bite, and it's really awesome, and it's my first time.
How did you get over the fear?
I just went straight in. Awesome. And I just did what I gotta do.
Quite an adventure and experience that Bahamians need to take an opportunity of. For ZNS Network News, I'm Charles Fisher.
Fisher, those pigs are not friendly, but Charlie seemed to have had a great time.
She had a good time. It was a dream to swim with the pigs, and it was everything. But I know you don't go in the water. You know, you ladies should buy bathing suit. I don't know why they buy bathing suit.
I wear my bathing suit now. I go in the water with my bathing suit.
And when we were in Bradland, they were telling Randy and I that you don't go in the water, you don't get the adventure. So open up your hands, LaDon. We brought you some pink sand. You've never had pink sand before.
Oh, I've had it lots of times.
This is the first time touching sand? Because we don't go in the water.
What's coming up in sports?
Well, coming up in sports, we're going to talk about that big contract signed by Buddy Hield. It's yet to officially sign, but it's been announced. And also, it's a big night in the New Providence Softball Association. You're playing with pink sand.
Yeah, because I'm missing it right now. Nothing more I had in sports.
For the latest news and highlights in Bahamian culture, tune in to the new Junkanoo 242, Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. on the ZNS Radio and Television Network. Radio Bahamas 1540 a.m. on 104.5 FM and TV 13. Each week, host Arlene Nash Ferguson and Darren Bastian engages listeners with some of the movers and shakers of Junkanoo and Bahamian culture. Don't miss Junkanoo 242, Saturday at 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. on the ZNS Radio and Television Network.
Breast cancer is the leading cause of cancer deaths in the Bahamas and in Bahamian women. At present, we are unable to prevent breast cancer, but performing screening mammograms can detect breast cancer at its earliest when there are no symptoms and when it is more likely to be treated successfully. All women should have a primary health care provider who is aware of their medical history, family history, and risk factors. Women 40 to 45 years can choose whether to start screening in consultation with their physician. All women 45 to 54 years should have an annual mammogram. Women older than 55 years can have a yearly mammogram or choose to have one every 2 years. Monthly breast self-exams in conjunction with the mammogram can increase the odds of early detection. Be proactive about your health.
Hey, I'm Megan Shepard, a reporter here at the ZNS Northern Service. Did you know that ZNS is right at your fingertips when you download the new ZNS app? Missed something in our newscast? That's okay. Simply pull up the app, swipe, and you'll find all of our news headlines and highlights. So what are you waiting for? Download the new ZNS app today.
Good morning once again. Buddy Buckets and the Sacramento Kings ready to tip off the NBA season come Wednesday. Although not officially signed, Buddy and the Kings have agreed to a 4-year contract that would pay him up to $106 million. He'll agree to a 4-year, $86 million deal with incentives and other bonuses. However, Hield could make an additional $20 million over the course of the deal. Most of the incentives in Hield's contract are team-based, including things such as All-Star and Finals appearance. His salary declines 8% year over year and is slated to take up just 13.5% of the salary cap in his 4th year. The 26-year-old was the 6th overall pick in the 2016 draft by the New Orleans Pelicans, who then shipped him to the Sacramento Kings in 2017 for the Marcus Cousins in that blockbuster deal. He had a career last year with 20.7 points, 5 rebounds, and 2.5 assists. Hield was expected to ink on the dotted line on Monday, but that should happen sometime today with the season tipping off on Wednesday. He did not speak on the new deal, but Coach Luke Walton did.
I can say Buddy had a great practice today. Officially, I can't say anything.
it's not official yet. But he really did have a really good practice today, and he's a lot of fun to coach, and we're very happy with him. Buddy knows that as a coaching staff, we really value him, and we're looking forward to playing with him. Whether he gets a contract done or not, we're looking forward to him being on our team. He's made a big stride so far this year. So, it's kind of one of those things where it never ends. You always want to push yourself to be better, and no one's ever ends up being perfect. But he's accepted that challenge, embraced that challenge. So we're going to keep pushing on him every day to become a better defender.
Also happy to see Buddy be around for the next 4 years is his sidekick, De'Aaron Fox, who is due for a deal in 2 years' time as well.
It's great. I mean, just knowing that he'll be around and part of what we're trying to build here. It's definitely a great feeling just knowing, hopefully we can stick together as long as possible. With his shooting alone, he makes the game easier for everybody. So, obviously he's gotten a lot better at playmaking, passing the ball, doing a lot of other things, but the way he puts the ball in the basket definitely just helps, the other four guys on the court. It didn't bother anybody. Buddy came out here, he worked, he did what he had to do, but, all that talk was left off the court, and, no one was worried about him when we were out there playing.
Now, Buddy, the Kings tip-off season at home Wednesday against fellow Bahamian DeAndre Ayton and the Phoenix Suns. Ayton, who averaged 16.3 points and 10 rebounds per game in his rookie season, have worked out all summer, and he hopes it pays off.
This summer, I've never worked so hard in the gym before in my life. I've seen these lines so many times. I see them in my regular life now. But I'll say they beat me to the ground this summer. With Coach Brian and Coach Monty and all the other coaches just surrounding me. When nobody was in the gym, I was in there by myself with 10 other coaches, when they just arrived. So it was just me just holding it down in the valley while everybody was gone.
Well, sports tourism is shaping up to be a big business for the Bahamas with the hosting of many international events. Does this fall under the Ministry of Tourism or Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture? Who has to say? Director General of Tourism Joy Jibilu explains the difference and the relationship.
We always recognize that our role at the Ministry of Tourism as related to sports tourism was somewhat different to that of the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture. We felt that their focus was national development, looking at what is on the ground and getting that up and about. Whereas ours was to use sports and international sports as a vehicle by which we could promote and grow tourism numbers. So of course there's synergies, and those synergies we work together. We know that sport is a vehicle that people will travel all over the world for. Football, baseball, basketball, swimming, athletics, we know it. And it is a great way to showcase a destination that has the ability to host such sporting events. So that's how we then get the local community in and our local ministry in and working with us in ensuring that there are people who are at these events from the Bahamas.
All roads tonight leads to the Blue Hills Bankers Field for Game 5 of the Providence Softball Association Men and Ladies Championship Series. After not getting the sweep, the Sunshine Auto Wildcats will be seeking to wrap up their third straight title, while the Inventive Intellect Lady Warriors will be hoping to continue playing ball and force a Game 6 and possibly Game number 7.
Oh, this is and Tuesday is finished. It's finished. I guarantee you that. All right, I'm out hard, but I guarantee Tuesday is finished.
Once we keep the same momentum and the right attitude, we could force the games.
Well, all I need is the girls to come out early, so we wouldn't have the jumble of our lineup. If they come out early, we can get them.
We're coming with the backdoor sweep, that's one.
Won't says anything, but they'll have to play between the white lines tonight. The Sunshine Auto Wildcats have 3-1 on the Inventive Intellect Lady Warriors, and then the CS Enterprise Hitmen also looking to put away the Commando Security Truckers. They lead that series 3-1. The park, I know, is going to be jam-packed tonight. Hope to see you at the Blue Hills Bankers Field for game number 5 of the Men and Ladies Championship Series. That's going to do it for sports. Thanks for watching, everybody.
hurricane watch or warning has been issued, it is extremely important to be prepared and know just what to do. Stay informed about the storm's path by listening to the radio or television for hurricane progress reports. Check emergency food and household supplies. Be sure you have extra batteries for flashlights and radios. Bring in outdoor items like lawn furniture and garden tools. Anchor objects that cannot be brought inside. Secure buildings by closing and boarding up windows. Remove outside antennas and satellite dishes. Turn refrigerators and freezers to the coldest settings, opening only when absolutely necessary and closing quickly. Purchase ice and store it in an ice chest. Keep drinking water in clean jugs and bottles. Clean your bathtub with bleach and fill it with water for washing and flushing, not for drinking, making sure to keep the bathroom door closed so that small children cannot access the filled tub. Do not go out to videotape or take photos of the storm. Take pictures from inside where it is safe and dry. There is no harm in being overly cautious where a hurricane is concerned. It is truly better to be safe than sorry. This public service announcement has been brought to you by the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas in conjunction with the National Emergency Management Agency.
Nature-based tourism supplies almost $50 million in revenue for Androsians every year. These priceless resources will continue to provide renewable benefits for thousands of people for years to come, as long as we take long-term action to preserve what's rightfully ours. The natural environment has played a vital role in our culture and economy for generations. Let's take care of nature, and nature will take care of us.
It's the OT with yours truly, Charles Fisher.
Buddy Hield and the Kings have their...
Buddy Hield seemed to be having the best season of his career. He had 32 points the other night. It was a bit disappointing, Shawnee Miller not winning the IAAF World Female Athlete of the Year. The high school rankings will soon be out. Tabernacle, the defending champion, CC Sweeting, they are always there. Who will it be this year? Each Monday on 1540 AM and 104.5 FM, it's the OT with yours truly, Charles Fisher.
In our final look at weather in the tropics, nothing out there to talk about, save for this little tropical wave just north of the Leeward Islands. That's moving towards the west. No major problem there at all. Over the Bahamas, high pressure is in control of our weather, at least for the next couple of days, because we have this frontal boundary across the southern United States that will eventually move towards the south and east, and by Thursday morning should push through the northwest Bahamas, stall just to the south of us, and then back up as a warm front over the weekend. So we'll see no significant change in the temperatures over the next several days. Our forecast for today, we are looking at partly sunny and hot conditions once again, with the high temperature reaching about 89 degrees. And then tonight we are looking at near clear skies, still very much warm with a low temperature of 78 degrees. And your extended weather forecast over the next 7 days, beautiful weather right through, despite the fact that that front boundary goes through on Thursday, start backing up on Saturday. We'll have lots of sunshine remaining in the forecast as that system is relatively dry. LaDawn?
Thanks a lot, Basil, and that does it for us this morning. Thank you so much for waking up with us. For the entire Morning Edition team, I'm LaDawn Davis. Make it a great Tuesday, everyone.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
I understand that Dwight on Bristol is celebrating his birthday today. Hey, good morning to you. Happy birthday greetings to you, Dwight. Now it's always locked into the national voice of the